bet on it. You can bet on it, buddy. Whisper this into the bit until they get when the spit would come from the spit. I wanna put in petri dish. Scientists love when I win the pedigree of the things that I become and the things I haven't become quite yet. Those are the quieted of the echelons that I've etched a song because it's an etch of skits whenever I went on this because you could bet on red. Make them chips or stick because then you could get the charcoal and the place is hot. The furnace is what it's called. I furnish you with song until you can put up what you got. The limbs on bottom part. Because it beckons my flow that I got. Until glaciers come. Those are the glaciers that I make cold with this flow that I throw from my throat because then I thoroughly thought this out, so I thought, and my thought was something else. It's like a bunk, you could sit and be safe while the bomb's going off. This is a cellar with all of them wine that they sip till there's only a single drop, and the single drop was all that it took because that's what I draw from this ether that's ever present. Ever reside in this wick of mine with a wicker basket I stitch until my fingers calluses and my thumbs alike. Then y'all could be dumb like the part of the tree that just swoop and then you wait for my sweet sonnet to come. I swing low like a sweet chariot does. I cherry pick this part of this. So let's pick up the pace a little, son. But not enough, cause he could fuck himself a flush because he gets stuck because he wants to stitch the touch so he could call himself the shit, but he's not. Maybe y'all was in the thicket when I thought something sick and I always did when I slurped the soup just like this. So maybe the gist had a maybe a test so y'all could be the marbles that spit played by a kid. Those are flows I so fucking froze. I never felt this feeling before. It fucking fills me to my bone because then you could go. Comes from the faucet with the H on where you turn it on. This was when the sauces would spin and they love and divide the thoughts for those of mine so they could get all because each word meant more when it comes from the guy who means more when he says nothing at all than those that go running their mouths. Those are nillas, those are fun in the front, and that was the whole of the song because then I'd be hollering at y'all until all would get this hauling talk with the offs. Oh, in Egypt, no, and then all of this was for reason, bro. It's a raising on bitch so he could be raising his kids. Those are the relinquishes when the doubt would lift the fucking dome. You can't to tell the donut it inside of what you done. That's wit. Those are sweets I sung to thee because then I could go sunk and spin into the next. Those are the cosmos that met when we touched and I met when I said. Those are umbrellas that drop the wet. Flows that chose a pick in the Colosseums but fall when the Colossus go with a heart to have mo. My crystal ball would start to glow. Then it's up from grown, it starts to float like it's haunted, but no. Maybe I need to surmount this flow and maybe get on like a mountain in the know because then I could have been the gnome next to stone. I've hollowed hole so I could call my home because so fucking close. But I was close all along. That's the chord I slid. Every time I said a part of this would have lit my flesh, but I glad it did because then I could have slid in the sick and be called safe by the who wore them stripes. No, that's a different game, but that's alright. Holy osmosis flow with a Moses stick and bow because then I could go and put in a stake in the yard because that's mine from now on with the blades of grass that were long. Told you I was best. I'll finally see that I was right all along. I finally said this in a minute, dawg, because then I could put in some in and wait for the wet to be gone. That's a whip that I hit so I could leave a mark. That's a red that would drip so it could be not yours. Beaten off from the astronaut with the side portraits of when I want to depart this. In part, this is what I meant, because I always say depart this like you won't get it, but I still wanted to leave my own, so I at least tried on yo that don't need to try it all, because that could have gone for warehouse instead inside of bowls, like maybe for the next civilization to come when the ships will finally stop. Like they're too busy, they don't need a pit, they don't need to piss, they don't need to pit something on his head. They don't need a compartment for those. Every time that I said some awesome for yo, there's some awesome that flows. I want to go like Niagara for yo, but those are the giraffes with the toe of the necks that was stretched for a wall. Those are the wine from the club. That's the wine from the cup. Every time that I dine for yo with something nice for that summertime that we in, is that the summer, right? Every time it's the sum of it when I said some extraordinary shit that want to do a bunch of shit that I didn't think that it could, like it got life of its own. Every time that I go on a row, it's a dust following moan to the poem that's a wit that they sit for persistent and they cast flight once again with their fleck. A flopper guy, the flubber from the world lit me love so I can set something awesome, yo, because I never grow, because if I go, maybe I go more Figaro, like my finger glow, and then I'm going home, and my ship will come. Maybe it's a shipment of a bunch of shit that I shouldn't have said with the stench of 1,000-year corpse attached, but I'm glad that I did, or at least I got myself convinced. Maybe I got a little cunning attached to my cavalry flow. Is starting to go downhill. I'm starting to glow like a shot above your dome, because then there behold a bunch of betrothal stuff like I just stole, because you can't call it stole if it's lost and it's no one's at all, because then you could just be Indiana Jones and I roll under a door that's almost closed and y'all gonna adore my flows. I'm gonna adore the part where I drone a bunch of kittens and cedar blocks. Yes. And then I rewind because I record. And then I recall all, dog. Like this is lucid stuff when I go with my lucid talk. Until I unleash on y'all something that had no leash at all. So the fleas that hop onto whatever have fun. Phone gully flow of phones. Fond of when I start to assist a fiendish sit, or at least it sounds like it is, but it's common sense to a common event, and then you put a comma instead so you can catch your breath. So I want to get inside of a tomb with all of them guards, with all of them depart, because then I could say with my part like I did something wrong. It's one of those flows. Why yes, of course, because it's TWA. Power puffs and more of those. Wanna depose like the Tokens, bro, because I felt like this pole was the strongest flow in the pole of the pole that you never wrote so with the rope that would float. How does it happen? Nobody knows. Maybe y'all bubbles pop, because then the fucking Cinderella got to the ball. She met the best hawk there ever was. He was gentlemanly like he loved his mom. That was great, all of that, just to get to that, that's okay. That's a fan that I would like to have, because in my mind, I like a friend just like me, perhaps. But it will never happen, dog. It's one in a million stuff, and you can put a couple extra O's and make those O's non-stop. Boom! Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. TWA.